Saturday. Christmas comes early.
Unbelievable! Welcome to this incredible scene.
Bills.
To the end zone!
Chargers.
It's a touchdown!
An exclusive NFL game.
That's fantastic!
Live in primetime.
Wow!
Only on Peacock.
With a Christmas gift to their fans. They're having some fun now.
Bills versus Chargers. Saturday, 7:30 Eastern. Exclusively on Peacock.
This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool. It helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/pixelnba. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements.
Want to give the best gifts without breaking the bank? At Walmart, you'll find something for everyone on your list, whether they've been naughty or nice. We don't just have everything for the holidays, we have the perfect thing for yours.
Whether you're karaokeing with clients or traveling through 4 time zones in 3 days, using your new American Express Business Platinum Card can get you one step closer to earning 120,000 membership rewards points after you spend $15,000 in purchases in your first 3 months, which means that every eligible purchase is a swipe in the right direction for your business. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
So when it says Sporting Kansas City, that makes sense. It's not St. Louis City, it's just St. Louis, aka Dumpster Fire, aka the Armpit of America. Like I would rather live anywhere else than St. Louis. But city is not a part of your name. So not only to put it in the name of the club, but then to have the chutzpah to make it like all capitalized.
Anything to shake this foot on it, my football team's got me drinking. Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. What a night at CMP. That was incredible. 2-1 win for Sporting Kansas City over St. Louis. This is the Shades of Blue Soccer Show, and this episode is brought to you by Amtrak. Take the easy trip from St. Louis to Kansas City. Whether you want to just escape the unfortunate place in which you live, or if you want to watch your favorite team lose in a much nicer city than your own, Amtrak STL to KC is for you. Amtrak, because Kansas City is better. Boys, welcome in. It is a great day to be in Kansas City. I'm going to go to my trusty, reliable Thad Bell, my co-host here. He always is in support of me. He brings the energy when I need it. And I know I was there with him last night. I saw him beaming. He must be so excited. So Thad Bell, a KC original soccer man. He's been around since the beginning. A St. Louis transplant. He's converted. Bury him a Sporting KC fan. After the 4-0 loss, I know you were hurting. But they came back. The finish to the season is on. They're focused. They're ready. They beat the top team in the Western Conference, Thad. It's time. They're ready for this fight. How are you feeling after this win?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited.
Always brings the thunder.
My man, I knew he was feeling it. Thank you, Thad. He's so excited. The locker room was bumping last night after this win. The boys were all feeling good. The wins are much more fun, Thad, if you haven't noticed. Let's listen to Daniel Shallowy after the game last night.
This was huge. I actually loved this game. That was such a cool environment, and it was fun. It was very fun. Very fun. I'm glad we got the win.
What was that noise,
I don't know, but I want to get there. So.
Yeah, good times. I don't know exactly what that was, but that howl, like an evil howl, came from the... They're down a hallway in the shower, so it was just echoing, and I don't know what they were doing in there, but they were having a good time.
I think they're back there doing shots or something, man.
Yeah, in one of those post-match videos they put up where they showed them doing shots at the end, that was in a room I've not seen back there. So I think that's down that hall somewhere where they're doing the shots. But yeah, everyone was walking around with a beer. It was fun in that locker room.
Can I just say real quick, my favorite thing about Daniel Shalhoub is that he does not give the like canned answers, he doesn't just play the hits. It's not the Bull Durham of like, I'm just happy to be here, God willing, we're going to try. Daniel always answers so honestly, and he answers like he's still like that 16-year-old kid who just like fucking loves to play soccer.
Yeah, he's just here and having a good time. That's why he's got the boyish charm. Little brother. That's why I call him little brother.
He has matured a lot, man. Actually, I was asking him about the rivalry and stuff, and he was saying a lot of just all the right stuff. I mean, he's still excited and all that stuff, but he's like, I said, you would have answered that a lot differently a few years ago. He's like, yeah, I'm not giving headline materials or something. He goes, Jake's over there being interviewed. Let him talk. Let him do it.
So we've got Mike Kuhn with us. Mike, did it look like you were in the Cauldron last night for this one?
Yeah, I was in the Cauldron last night for this one. It's been a long time since I've seen the stadium like it was last night. I mean, my comment was St. Louis had probably the largest traveling support since MLS Cup.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Maybe Omaha, but theirs was nowhere near as organized as St. Louis was. So, I mean, it just added to the atmosphere. And I mean, let's face it, the games this year have been rough at times, basically. And even when even when we've been winning, it's not been anywhere close to what it was last night. Last night was, it felt like the clock got turned back to 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, when that was the every game atmosphere from this Cauldron, from the stadium. It was fun.
We've talked a lot about the Cauldron losing some of its spark a little bit, and yeah, and credit to the St. Louis fans, that obviously helped the atmosphere last night. The competing sides of the stadium, that was it was a beautiful thing. But they were all disappointed, and that made me very happy. So let's actually talk about this game. 2 goals for Alan Pulido. He's now up to 12 on the season. And I just want to pat myself on the back a little bit here. In our preseason pod, when we were making predictions, I predicted Pulido would get to that 17 goal mark and set the record. And I'm just saying 5 goals in the next 7 games. We're going to need him to do something along those lines in order to make this run into the playoffs. And also, that prediction was without knowing he was going to be gone for like 3 months of the season or whatever that was. It felt like an eternity. So, yeah, Alan Pulido, he looked very good last night. When he's on the field, things are just different, Thad.
Oh, definitely. And remember, we're still missing Gotti from last night, so that would have been a big addition too.
Pulido's actually third in the Golden Boot race. He's 2 goals back of Hani Mukhtar in 500 fewer minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say that goals per game has to just be probably knocking almost everybody out of the water.
He's got 12 goals in 22 matches played with 20 starts, 1,700 minutes. Mukhtar's got 14. Lucho Acosta's got 13. Jakub Makis from Atlanta has 13. Buanga and Christian Espinoza and Pulido are all tied with 12.
I mean, let's on the topic of Pulido. I mean, I know there are a segment of fans who don't want him re-signed, who thought we should have sold him this summer. Last night was 100% proof of why A, you don't, and B, he's being re-signed. He's just,
yeah, absolutely.
He's a striker. He's a very, very good striker.
I
think people forget with the fact that he wasn't healthy for so long, but he's a very good striker.
Yeah, whenever the salaries came out and he was listed at $2.2 million, it's like, yeah, I mean, he's been hurt for a year and a half of a 3-year contract, but man, when he is on the field, that $2.2 million was a bargain. Like, that just seemed pretty clear that he's a bargain at $2.2 million. And yeah, they have to give him a pay raise, but I mean, if he's gonna lead us into the playoffs here, and then anything can happen after that, then yeah, he's the kind of player that is worth it in this league. He scores goals. He does everything else on the field in Vermees's system. It would be very hard to replicate that again, and they could spend a lot of money and not do it. But we don't need to do that. We've done that podcast a lot. Yeah, well, one more thought. Wrap us up on Pulido.
No, the only other thought on that is, I mean, yeah, you're giving him a raise, but in the grand scheme of MLS, it doesn't matter, because anything above his cap hit, unless it's tammable, unless it's able to be bought down with TAM, which he probably never was going to happen, it doesn't matter, because it's all surplus. It's all, yeah, it's there, but it doesn't affect the ability for them to get other people.
So 2 beautiful goals last night. Pulido was just kind of the guy on the end of them. The team as a whole, it was just it was a very good team win. I'm going to use I know that's kind of an eye roll phrase there, but everyone played their part. Tim Melia came back and did his thing. And those 2 goals were just so well worked, and that's the kind of goal you want to see. That's how Manchester City beats inferior opponents, just moving the ball around and then a tap in from Holland at the end. And then they also score like a gazillion other goals, but that's just not fair. So yeah, that first goal, when Eric Tommy was just absolutely swarmed, he took a good shot that it looked like it was destined to go into the back of the net. It was blocked. He got it back. And then I think 9 of the 11 players on the field were all swarmed around Eric Tommy in a circle, and he just dinks it over to Shallowy, who plays it right back for Pulido in the right spot. And yeah, it was a beautiful goal, David. What did you think of the 2 team goals we've had last night?
They were great. And honestly, the chip to Shallowy, that like little lofted ball over the top, I mean, that is a real piece of skill to be able to get the height, the weight of the pass perfect. I mean, it was incredible.
And he was onside. I saw a tweet today of lines and angles and shading, and Daniel Shallowy was indeed online. I know a lot of St. Louis fans are upset about that one. But yeah, on that note, let them cry. Thank you. On that note, Alan Chapman, there was a noticeable difference just right from the start. Hard fouls from both teams were going unchecked. The first goal for St. Louis, that one, obviously, I was fuming. And when that pass went down the field after the no call on a foul for against Felipe Gutierrez, when that ball went downfield, you just knew it was going in. That's how St. Louis scored in the last game. That's how the season has gone for not just Sporting on our end, but also it just goes like that for St. Louis. They just do things like that. And yeah, you just knew that was going to go in. But Vermees kind of praised Alan Chapman after the game. If both fans at some point in the match chant "Ref, you suck," then something, I guess, I mean, I think Alan Chapman's probably patting himself on the back for that one. I don't know if that means he did a good job. It could just mean he was equally bad. But consistency is one thing that MLS referees seem to lack. So, yeah, there was no fights last night. I think it started to get chippy right when it was like, all right, he has to start giving out some yellow cards or it's going to get out of hand. Then the yellow cards started coming out. So I don't think it was too terrible. I think the foul in Denbe was in the box. I don't understand how that one was not called in the box. It would have been very unlucky for St. Louis it would have been a lucky PK for Sporting, but he was in the box. Was he in the box?
I don't think so. I think he was outside the box. The ball was inside the box when it happened.
You were on the other end of the field. Your opinion doesn't matter. David, back me up here.
I was right in front of it. He was just outside the box. I was down at that end of the cauldron, and he was just outside the box.
Ha ha.
It was very close, but he was just outside.
So Cody, I can't back you up on that. because apparently Mike has just cut my legs out from under me on just blind loyalty to you and to the pod. But I thought Alan Chapman was awful. He was terrible, but he was consistently terrible. And that's, I guess, all you can ask for. But what drives me crazy about St. Louis and, is they developed this identity as like, we are a hard crunching team. And they know that the officials won't call every foul. And because that's their identity, is that we're going to put in a hard challenge and we're just going to foul you. The refs don't call all the fouls. You see this in other sports too. Like, it's really common in basketball where, like, I know they won't call every foul, so we're just going to hack you relentlessly.
Yeah.
And but we're going to have an identity as like a tough team because, like Alan Chapman didn't have the courage to just call all the fouls.
Yeah. It's the style of play from them is just, it's interesting. Like they do kind of play like the lesser teams in the Premier League when they're going against the big guys. It's just they put out, two big bodies and it's balls over the top and the counterattacking. And at times I kind of like it, and they do things that I wish Sporting would do and never seem to do. And that's stuff
Score
like
consistently.
Score. Yes, there you go. Score consistently. Take advantage of opportunities is a big one there. But no, it's, Sporting is very purposeful. They move the ball around and are waiting for an opportunity and all of that. It's like they're running a play in basketball. And St. Louis will just kind of do whatever they need to do. A dink to get it over to that guy, something to disrupt it. They take a chance on a through ball and just try to like make things happen. And it has worked for them this year. I don't want to give them credit for that because I don't like it, but it has worked so far, and I keep thinking they're going to have to regress back to the mean at some point because their season expected goals is like 0.6 they're way outscoring.
They're around 35 is their expected goals, and they've scored over 50.
Right.
Is what you're getting at, Cody. And yeah,
Thank you for saving me.
If it's going to happen, it's probably going to be next year, similar to what's happening with Austin this year, where last year they overplayed their abilities basically, and this year they're kind of regressing back. And it happens to all teams. It'll eventually happen to St. Louis. I think it's happening a lot later than I think a lot of everybody expected out of St. Louis this year. But I mean, St. Louis reminds me a lot of early Sporting KC, 2011, 2012, because they did a lot of that too. They would go out and they knew the referees weren't going to call every foul. They knew that wasn't going to happen. So they came out. Espinoza would with crunching tackles, Paulo Nagamura with crunching tackles. You had I see a lot of similarities between those teams. And it worked for Sporting, and it's now been 10 years really since Sporting kind of went away from that, and now you have another team that's really buying into that mindset, and it's working for them, similar to how it worked for Sporting.
Yes, but
I don't remember Sporting getting. Sorry, go ahead, Cody.
Oh, that's an easy way for like a new team to be good, because you don't have to build relationships as much. You don't have to have as much skill. I mean, don't get me wrong; they have very skilled players, but it's an easy way to start a team and get it going and have success. And when Vermees took over the team, it was easier to become a very high pressing, very physical, athletic team, and then develop it into a more mature team over time. I don't know that Carnell's a guy that will do that for St. Louis, but that's an easy way to get a team initial success.
Also, it was just a different time.
Carnell's a Red Bull guy, and so it's energy drink soccer. It's how all the Red Bull teams play, whether they're Leipzig, Salzburg, or New York. It's all very helter-skelter, but it's the great equalizer. When you have lesser talent, but you play this chaotic system, you can steal points.
So getting back to this game, Mike, what did you think tactically from this one?
The game for both teams, the way both teams plays to both teams' advantages, if that makes sense. St. Louis doesn't want the ball. Kansas City wants the ball. And for it was just a case of, for me, I thought Vermes got pretty much everything right last night. The one area I will kind of think he probably could have changed things is Pulido was gassed by the end of the game, or with about 10 minutes left in the game.
Everybody
I would have
was
liked to have
gassed.
seen. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Agata come in probably, and because I mean you've had Pulido on them for 75, 80 minutes, and then you bring in Agata to just back into guys, and it could have brought another aspect to the game. But at that point of the game, Kansas City also wasn't really pushing forward as much. They were the ones that were kind of trying to strike on the counter at that point of the game. So it wasn't really. Yeah, it didn't make sense at the same time to bring in Agata.
Yeah, I really liked it. One difference in these last games is that they are able to close things out, and you feel more confident in the end of the games than you have all year long. So everyone was looking very good last night. Eric Tommy had a very good game. Jake Davis is kind of finding his groove. He got his second assist. That second goal was really nice. Nice play with Eric Tommy on the side, a little give and go, and then Jake splits the defense, and another easy easy finish for Alan Pulido. Thad, do we need a new nickname for Jake Davis? He's becoming a key player.
He's already been given it last night, man.
What was it?
I already heard Jake effing Davis.
He can't just steal Johnny's.
Yeah.
No, Johnny's like giving it to him, man. Like Johnny said last night that, Jake, the way he's playing up there and splitting players and stuff, he goes, he's going to take the right wing spot from me and move me to right back.
I like it. JFD.
Okay, well, hold on. I've got a theory, so I can't be fined for this being a bad idea because I started with I have a theory. But he burnt SLC, like St. Louis, on that second goal.
Yeah.
Jake toasted Ravioli Davis.
Okay.
I like that one.
You can be criticized for a bad idea, even if you start off with it's probably a bad idea. So, yeah.
Well, I don't hear you coming up with anything, Thad.
You know what I noticed about this rivalry last night? It is fierce. I really don't want to have to listen to the fans if they win, if St. Louis wins. But I realize what is missing is the hatred of players. The Cauldron said it. They chanted it during the game. We don't know who you are. I think there's just these guys running around on the field. I like Giacchini. He's fine. I kind of wish he was here. But I don't know. There's just a bunch of guys out there. We don't know them. I need to hate someone on the team with a passion. I wanted Roger Espinoza to pull Kyle Beckerman by his braids or whatever you call it, the dreads. And yeah, I need to hate someone like Diego Chara. And we're just missing that because we don't know who these guys are, David.
No, I got you. I know exactly who to hate. I've got 3 candidates for you, from least hateable to most. Samuel Adeniran, who started the game at the 9 for them, complained relentlessly. He threw a big temper tantrum in the second half because he felt like he was getting bodied up too much, and he was over there screaming at the AR on the east side. And was just making a big show of it. He was a clown.
6'5", that guy is. Beast.
João Klaus, our potentially problematic ancestors friend from Brazil.
Klaus from Brazil. How'd you guys get there?
Klaus was a absolute douche canoe when he came into the game, just screaming in the face of the AR at one point.
Got a yellow for it.
Yeah, screaming at Alan Chapman. I mean, he was just a tool and lacked the skill to be as much of an asshole as he was. And then my number one hated guy, and I would never wish for an injury on somebody, but I hope he gets just the gnarliest hangnail of all time. But Thoresen, number 29 for them. I don't remember what his first name is, but he goddamn dive artist. He kept like going down and looking for calls. Like he at one point slipped and fell on his own. Like I think he tried to make a turn, fell down, and then threw a temper tantrum that he didn't get a foul call. And you're like, nobody was within 3 feet of him.
Yeah.
And he was just a jackass. So he's the number 1 hated guy.
So Thad, back in the locker room, I think my favorite thing from there was the media immediately went over to Jake Davis, and he was just getting absolutely razzed by every other player in the locker room. Jake is clearly like not comfortable speaking to the media, or just doesn't want to, or doesn't like it. Maybe he's just introverted, doesn't like the spotlight or whatever. But he was just not having a good time, straight up not having a good time. Teammates screaming at him from every angle while he was trying to do this interview. That was so funny.
Yeah, I think it's just that he's not used to it yet, man. He'll get used to it more as he gets older. But I've talked to him like one-on-one or other settings and stuff, and he's really good to talk to. He's not as perhaps easy, fluent speaking kind of guy, but he'll grow into that, man. He'll get used to it.
Yeah, because he's starting to play better. I think the floodgates are open on the assists. I'm ready to see more of those from him. We're going to need it. And yeah, I mean, like David said, he really did just kind of take them apart. There was like 3-4 defenders that he went through on that one run. So well done from Jake. Very happy for him.
And actually, I want to go back to something you said earlier, like the basically he set up a tap in for Pulido. Mm-hmm. Pulido was not right, real close.
Yeah,
and he had to place it between bodies to get it in there. So it was not as easy, because I was actually looking at the photo I was on the opposite end. I was looking at the photo I took, and you can see how close it was to different bodies as it went through there.
Yeah,
so
no,
it was a better place shot.
Yeah, thank you. I meant to come back to that. It was still just a fairly simple finish for a striker of his caliber is kind of what I was going for at the end of a team play. Yeah. But no, that was.
But we've seen a lot of people bounce that off of bodies,
absolutely,
or over the bar.
Daniel.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I was. David, that's what I was just about to say. Yeah, Daniel would have hit that off of someone for sure.
Or I mean, I've seen people just recently, as a couple of days ago, put a shot really wide when they had an open goal. But we'll get to that later.
Kyrie.
So okay, yeah, I know the rivalry is it's missing hatred of players for me. David, thank you for giving us a list there that we can dive into and look forward to in this next game. But there is one thing I decided that I genuinely hate about this team, and it's that the name does not look right. When you read it, it makes no sense to me. There's a period in it somewhere. One word is in all caps. There's initials at the beginning and end, and one of them is one of the second letters not capitalized. It genuinely looks like the SpongeBob meme, and that you're supposed the SpongeBob mocking meme, and that you're supposed to say it as such, like St. Louis City, FC City. Like it's seriously, and I'm going to say their name like that until they change it. It's like in Step Brothers when Rob Riggle says, "Change your face or I'll change it for you." I don't know why I hate it. It's not their fault. It's just their name. But change your face or I'll change it for you. Change your name.
It is their fault. They picked that name. They chose that name.
But it's just a name. It's a simple thing. I don't know why, but change your name or I'm going to say it like a SpongeBob meme.
I don't have as much issue with the name, but the graphic, the trademark, the font, or whatever you say, but the logo looks like crap. It looks like a car dealership, like Lou Fuse Soccer Club. They're gonna like sell cars after the soccer match and take rich parents for money to teach their kids bad soccer. I don't like the logo. I don't like the trademark. I don't like the color, St. Louis City pink or whatever it is. Is that the official name?
But there are cities in this country that actually says the word city in it. For instance, Kansas City or New York City. So when it says Sporting Kansas City, that makes sense. Yes. It's not St. Louis City. It's just St. Louis, a.k.a. Dumpster Fire, a.k.a. the Armpit of America. Like I would rather live anywhere else than St. Louis. But city is not a part of your name. So not only to put it in the name of the club, but then to have the chutzpah to make it like all capitalized. Like, what is that about? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's so stupid. And it's just one of like any number of reasons to hate them and to think they're stupid and to just take the club away from them like it's the NFL.
Oh my gosh, we need more. We need more Jewish lawyer David coming out on this show. That was amazing. I haven't heard a chutzpah on this show like I don't ever remember hearing that. That was amazing.
I just think it helps to perpetuate us continuing to be called Sporting Kansas, because it gives that idea of, oh yeah, they're just multiple teams with city in their names, so it's just Sporting Kansas.
I know. And so I will David, it sounds like you have a lot of it sounds like you have several things you hate about St. Louis, and I think we maybe need.
Name isn't even in the top 5. It's just a stupid name. And like
hold on, I think we need.
Let me go, coach.
God,
let me in.
Let him go. I'm letting him go for it.
The first reason, and this is, I'm going from the least reason to hate them to the most reason. Their team just complains so much. Oh, I dove and I didn't get a call. Like, when, oh, I'm Klaus. My parents and my grandparents are problematic. I didn't get my way. When all they did was complain. I hate them. They're the worst.
Was that number 5? Is this number 4? You're on number 4?
Yeah, yes, number 4. They foul relentlessly. It's ugly soccer. The rest of the league is trying to play beautiful football, and St. Louis is just out here hacking people and making it ugly like it's 2009 MLS. They're the goddamn worst.
David, I love the energy. You got to keep it coming, but you got to give me a window for the dunna. You got to give me a window.
I did.
No, at the beginning. At the beginning, you got to do it. I have to step on you to get in the da-da.
A number, a da-da, and then the rant.
David.
Well, I'm worked up.
David's number 3 reason that St. Louis sucks.
They dive like a submarine. It was like watching The Hunt for Red October.
Oh my God, you did it again. They dive like a submarine. Give me the window and then go. They dive like a submarine. Now explain.
Thorson was just diving left and right and then throwing tantrums that he wasn't getting calls.
Number 2 reason St. Louis sucks from David.
It's a one-player team.
Nailed it.
But for Berkey, they'd be last in the West. That guy is single-handedly winning them games. It's a one-player team, and they think that they're God's gift.
They do think they're God's gift. That's just a quality of St. Louis sports fans, though. Now, David's number 1 reason St. Louis sucks.
Their fans stink.
Wow, I led you right into that one. That one was perfect. Well done.
No, and I don't mean like they're bad people, because they are. But it's not about that. It's they literally smell. The guy next to me smelled like cheap marinara and moldy Provel. They are literally smelly human beings. They're the worst. They should take the team away from them.
Oh man. So just to balance things out after the St. Louis hatred, I'm gonna go back to the name that you were talking about, the city part of the name, and maybe defend them a little bit. But then it's not really a defense. I appreciate that they found a soccery name, an international football-y name about city. Like no one else in MLS had done the city yet, and no one had claimed being a city. And so there's something
Except
to
for
that.
all the actual cities.
Well, I know, but that's not that, like Manchester City. That's not the name there. The city is not called Manchester City. That's the club's name is City. So like I appreciate that they found the one remaining soccery name in the world, but then like you guys all said, they did their inherent rival is just called Sporting Kansas City. And it seems like it's an odd choice. And for real, just visually reading that name, it just, my eyes just glaze over. It makes no sense to me. St. Louis City, FC City. It just makes no sense. I don't get it. But
it's
David,
an ugly logo and an ugly color.
It is.
And they all need to shower. Smelly ass people.
Well, they just drove however many hours or rode a damn Amtrak.
I've taken the road trips. I don't smell like marinara sauce when I get out of the car.
No, you smell like what you started with, babies.
That's weird. Can we cut that? That's weird.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. Where's my? Oh, I just took the loser sound off. That deserved the loser sound for that one.
Yeah.
Any other shout outs from this game that we have not? Any other players that need a mention, a shout that we haven't? Oh, Kyrie came in and actually got a cheer.
From which fan base?
Oh, valid
I thought Kyrie
point.
played.
I didn't
well
think
when
about
he
that.
won.
Yeah.
He. I don't think he was bad. I don't think he was bad last night.
He was not.
I will say I don't think Tommy's gotten enough love.
Yeah.
From last night. Tommy was
very good last night.
Tommy honestly was my man of the match last night. He was immense last night. That the
ball
that
yes.
he played to Shallowy.
Yes, great minds think
That
alike
was-
there, Mike. That was incredible.
That was an absolutely fantastic ball, and it absolutely deserved a finish. I was really pissed off at Daniel when he missed that one.
The vantage point on that play from the press box, like watching it all develop from the counterattack on the other end of the field, was a great ball from Remy to open it up and put Tommy into space. And just the angle that Tommy's running towards the sideline on that play. And it doesn't even necessarily look like he knows Shallowy is in the spot. And even if he does know, it's just that one touch pass, bends right in front of both defenders. It was that was an incredible pass. And Daniel, damn it, Daniel, had just way too much time to think on that play. Berkey is a great keeper. We talked about that last week. And that was a very good double save. It was, but they should have scored. Absolute disaster to not score there. Pulido on a hat trick gets the ball at the top of the box with only field players on the goal line in front of him, and he just dished it back to Shallowy. I couldn't believe every play on there after the beautiful pass from Tommy. I could not believe any decision that was made, but it was a very gritty performance for them to lock the game down. Like we said, that I think they showed something different there. They do seem to be in the right mindset. They're up for the fight of these last 7 games here. And man, they just need to snatch a playoff spot. Anything can happen after that, Thad. David, yes, I know they're vulnerable. They're susceptible to bad turnovers and counterattacks. But they can genuinely beat anyone. Look at the top of MLS. Top of the Western Conference. Seattle Sounders, 2nd place. Beat them. 1st place, St. Louis City SC. Beat them. 1.7 points per game when Alan Pulido is out there. They're focused. They're hungry. Everyone looks good. Jake Davis is hitting stride. Johnny's nutmegging people. Anything is possible.
Did you just say 1.7 points per game with Pulido?
Yes, is that incorrect?
No, that would put us at 2nd in the West.
2nd in the West and up there with the best teams in MLS even. I think Cincinnati's like over 2, but yeah, that puts them right up there with the best in MLS. And they're ready for this fight, man.
Well, and you say Cincinnati, I mean, we took them to penalty kicks in the Leagues Cup with down a man for an hour.
True that. Technically,
with the best player.
Yeah.
Best player being gone. So
that was a hell of a headbutt too. I mean, the guy just excels at every phase of the game.
This podcast is brought to you by AT&T Fiber with All-Fi. Something tells me that the guy watching sports for 13 hours straight on Sunday, who then stays up watching the recaps of those 13 hours, then calls his friends to talk about it, is definitely going to notice that half-a-second delay.
Get AT&T Fiber with All-Fi and watch sports any time of day from anywhere in your house. Live like a gigillionaire. Limited availability in select areas. Go to att.com/hypergig to check eligibility. Coverage may require extenders at additional charge.
Want to give the best gifts without breaking the bank? At Walmart, you'll find something for everyone on your list, whether they've been naughty or nice. We don't just have everything for the holidays, we have the perfect thing for yours.
Okay, we'll move on to segment 2 here. And there was a lot of hate from our neighbors across the state. Hey, that rhymed. In that first segment. But, last night was a beautiful thing, and partially because of our St. Louis brethren. I'm very happy. We should take a moment to appreciate this after all the St. Louis hate. It was a wonderful thing last night. The rivalry is clearly there already. I'm happy that they've got a team. It's been so long for them. Apparently, they did a lot of things in the past, and I'm just happy for them. They should feel good about themselves. They got out of their terrible city and got to come over here. Oh, I guess that didn't end up being very nice. But I'll take it back. The rivalry is great. I'm very happy that we have this rivalry. Thad, how do you feel as someone in the middle of this that left me hanging on that bit I was trying to do there?
Well, I wasn't sure if you ended, man. Sorry. I thought you were going to give a little more hate to St. Louis because that's just kind of the natural thing for you. Although even more so for David, where it's a completely irrational thing, which he probably
it's not irrational.
Some
I can rationalize all of it.
Psychiatric help or something.
It's the worst.
But hey, downtown St. Louis, man, I don't even want to go back there. I don't want to go back to the next Sporting St. Louis game, but man, I don't know if I want to go back downtown there. But overall, the general area I do like. But yeah, it's a great rivalry. Good. It's good for the league, good for the team. It'll help fire up, hopefully, Cauldron and
it's cute.
Sporting management.
It's cute. They're so happy. Like, oh, look, we finitally have a team. We get to travel across the state to a better city, watch our team. It's so cute. They're all excited. We'll see where they're at in 30 years now. Almost 30 years later, when they're in the dark days of their club, we'll see how they're traveling.
It'll probably be next year when they're in the dark days of their club because they can't maintain this scoring pace. We've already talked about that. And they are pretty much living on all history. And I mean, Sporting walks out how many trophies?
But they like
the game?
They like their soccer there. The shine will continue as the new team and one of the only professional teams they have in that city. And so they'll continue to support them next year, even if things go bad. But I mean, we've been in this. We have a history at this club. We've been doing this a long time, and every game to them is still important. So it's very cute. I'm very happy for them. They got like 500 people there. That was cool. I liked all the pink, red, whatever the hell they are, jerseys. Good for them.
Did you say 500 people?
I don't know how many. It
was more than that.
How many people did they have?
Like a lot. And
there were a lot.
And here's the thing. I'm not mad at any SKC fan who sold their tickets last night because the team hasn't given us like a ton this year. So like I was directly sitting next to some smelly St. Louis fans, and like I get it. But where I'm frustrated with this is that our front office doesn't seem to take it like a rivalry. They were selling suites to the St. Louis fans. The Bud Light landing in the corner was all St. Louis. The Mazuma Credit Union one was all St. Louis. The front office is selling corporate suites to the rivals. And at some point, you just have to forego the revenue and be like, I'd rather it be empty and not have the $1,000 than like pack the stadium with a bunch of these marinara sauce loving losers.
Yeah, I walked through the suites area. There were a lot of St. Louis people there, but I just kind of, I mean, yeah, maybe they did sell some suites to St. Louis people. I don't know if that's against the norm. I actually think that might be normal. But my instinct about all of the jerseys up there was just like, everyone knows people in St. Louis. We got friends and family that exchange us. I was just assuming that each of these suites were like were mixed suites between fan bases and just people that came together and got free tickets and stuff like that.
Not the Bud Light one.
Oh, there's Sporting
Bud
people
Light
there.
one was they bought up most of that section. It was. I'll take David's side on this. This is just another aspect of what is a growing frustration with the front office and ownership and how the team, the game day experience, and fans are treated. Basically, it's another frustrating part that's been growing, and you can paper over it when you win. When you're not winning, it comes to the forefront, and the last 2 years have not been the greatest. So all those cracks, all those frustrations that people could look past because, oh, we're winning, I don't have to worry about the people's complaints on this side are right there for everyone to see, and it's a growing frustration for a number of people, myself included.
It was a terrible time for them to come into the league in relation to Sporting Kansas City, that's for sure. But I'm happy. I'm happy for them.
Time.
They finally got their team, and they're like running around their little pink dog food jerseys. It's so, and they're like playing a good few months of soccer, and they win the league in the first 5 weeks. I'm just really happy for them. It's very cute. All these new soccer fans. It's good for the league, right? And speaking of the league, let's bring it back to Sporting Kansas City.
Okay, I didn't really get to interject in there for a second, but
go ahead, Thad.
Part of me doesn't mind them having sold some of this stuff to St. Louis fans, because that money comes to Sporting and it goes to fund Pulido or the next DP or whatever, helps at least a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was a little ticked off last night. I was riding in the elevator. Somebody's like, "Oh, lots of St. Louis fans out there." And one of the Sporting employees is in the elevator there, goes, "Oh, I don't care. As long as it's a full house. It's great if we just have people in there." I'm sitting there just wanting to, like, no, it pisses me off. I want them to get the allotment, the minimum allotment they get, because the rest of the seats are sold out, because Sporting fans are in the seats. Now, again, I'm not going to be pissed off at people selling tickets last night, because we sold one ticket last night because my daughter was working and couldn't make it. So yes, there was some St. Louis fan from freaking Kansas City who's only a St. Louis fan because he has relatives in St. Louis. That was a bullshit reason, dude. I don't know who you are. If you're listening to this, shame on you. You live in Kansas City. I have relatives in St. Louis. You've lived in Kansas City long enough, well before St. Louis had a team. You should be a Sporting Kansas City fan if you want to root for their baseball team, their hockey team. I don't give a shit.
Wow.
But you're in Kansas City. You should be rooting for Kansas City. You didn't live there when there was a Sporting or a St. Louis City. You should be rooting for Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City, that's your home team. Piss off.
Did you remember where you were going with that? That was an interjection and a little rant there, but do you remember where you were going with that?
I was originally going with, I don't mind like some of like a suite being sold to St. Louis people for a lot of money or something like that. I just didn't like the attitude from at least one Sporting employee that I don't care who's in the stands as long as it's full. Yeah. Oh, that's bullshit.
Whoever's idea it was for the flags was just very well done. They anticipated the pink in the crowd, and that was a very smart move. Nice touch, and it did help after those goals. It helped add blue to every seat. Also, I think it's just their color. It's like the way the Chiefs travel well. I think that also helps. Just the bright color is unmistakable in any spot in the crowd, especially next to dark blue.
The Dayglow pink.
So looking around the league here, they've got 6 points from the first 2 games of the final 9-game stretch after the League's Cup break. It's a perfect start. They look like they're ready for it, but they're still going to need some help from around the league. David, what went on around the league last night? Any big results for us?
So none of them I would say were big, but we got some favorable results, not perfect. Sporting's in 11th on 32 points. Austin's in 10th with 33. Dallas is in 9th, which is the final playoff spot, with 34. Then San Jose and Minnesota are level at 36 for 7th and 8th. Vancouver has 38. So last night we had Austin drew with New England, dropping 2 points. Yep. Atlanta and Dallas drew, dropping 2 points. Salt Lake won, which was a bummer. The Galaxy and Houston drew. San Jose and Minnesota drew.
Yeah, that was San Jose and Minnesota draw. That was a good one for us. Those are both right there at the bottom of the playoff line right now.
Right. And then Seattle and Portland, because Portland is 2 points back of Sporting. So there's a little cluster here at the bottom of the playoff line, like the top end of trying to get into the playoffs. The benefit for Sporting, I mean, this is a huge result, because I'm not sure this is one anybody was really counting on, but we've got 2 games against Minnesota, including decision day. I think we have one more against Houston. Sporting has the ability to directly affect their own chances of getting in the playoffs. And so we take both games from Minnesota, or we take 4 out of 6 points, and we could easily jump them.
It's all there for it, man. It's crazy just looking at this table. They're 9 points out of second place right now. I don't understand how that's possible. But then they could also be, if LA wins all of like their games in hand, then we could also be in 12th place and not 11th place. It's the Western Conference is just absolutely absurd.
That's good for us.
Well,
though.
and to be fair, I mean, Sporting has since they beat Seattle in Seattle and ended their winless run to start the season. Last night was their 8th win of the season since that point. I mean, you take out the 7 losses and 3 draws in the first 10, and they are 8-4-5 since they got their first win. That puts you up near the top of the table if you don't completely crap the bed in the first 10 games of the season.
Okay.
But they did. And like last year, they did. And they were great in the last 10 games of last year and didn't make the playoffs. They have to be better throughout the season, at least something. That first 10 games was so damn bad.
We used to be really, really good starting the season, and then we crapped the bed in August.
I know.
Now we're just crapping the bed at the beginning of the season.
Well, this season was obviously different. Yeah.
It's the Seattle approach to being bad and then turning it on late and making a run.
Galaxy did that a lot of years also. But they would pick up, they would create new rules to have DPs in the middle of the year and bring in guys.
We're going to go to break and then come back and finish things up.
Hold on, Cody.
What?
I'm a big Call of Duty player. As much as I'm allowed to play, having children. And so I actually met a guy online. He's also a big Call of Duty player. His name is Kyler Murray. I don't know if you know who that is. And we got to chatting, and I actually secured us a new sponsor for the podcast. And I'm sorry for another ad read, but we got to pay the bills. But I got us a new sponsor. Can I do our ad read to bring in the cash?
Of course you can. I'm not the only salesman anymore. I like this, helping us out. Bring in the money, David.
This podcast is brought to you by the Arizona Cardinals. Do you love the NFL? We do too. Do you hate St. Louis? Join the club. Welcome to the 2023 NFL season from a city that doesn't suck.
Hey, Brad, you know how Nationwide is more than an insurance company?
Yeah, they're one of America's largest financial services companies.
We get that in a song like Business Life Retirement.
Or Nationwide's there to protect.
I'm kind of the jingle guy.
Not sure I agree with that.
Well, I'm not sure I like your hat.
Well, that would never fit on you.
Products issued by Nationwide Life Insurance Company or Nationwide Life and Annuity Insurance Company. The general distributor for variable products is Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
You'll know real when you get it. It'll say eBay Authenticity Guarantee, and you'll feel it. Maybe it's a head-turning handbag, a watch that says it all, jewelry that makes you look like a gem, sneakers and streetwear so fresh, every step feels fly. eBay gets it. So look for the blue check mark next to that thing you love and be confident that every inch, stitch, sole, and logo is checked by experts. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that feeling of real is always in reach. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms.
All right. We had the media game this weekend, but Thad, let's go ahead and talk about the current, because that was the actual game that was going on. 1-0 loss, not very exciting, but what can you tell us from that one, Thad?
The current almost have completely blown any chance of making the playoffs.
That's about it, right?
Mathematically, they still have a chance, but Coach Wehrblum.
Well said.
I don't know if that was well said, but I'm at least trying. They allowed the Angel City to dominate the midfield, turn the game into chaos, make it a transition game, took away the Current trying to be a possession team, and eventually got the goal and ended up winning it. So Current needed, in their last 6 games, they needed at least 4 wins, maybe 5 and a draw, and they've now got a draw and a loss. So they're not out, but they're next to being out. They just didn't care enough to play hard.
They didn't care enough to play hard. You really went with just like the old school radio guy there at the end, just to take. They gotta want it more.
No, that was a little mean, but yeah, I don't know. They just haven't been able to score as well as they should. I think Dabinia is sometimes a subtraction instead of an addition because everybody wants to get it to her.
Yeah, there's something that doesn't work the way it should at the very least right there.
The bright spot is
I was going to say I made a joke Friday night where I can't remember who I was responding to now. They had said that the Current's tactics for the game were F it, Dabinia's down there somewhere. And I responded back just like the Chiefs did with Tyreek. F it, Tyreek's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was the Current's game plan on Friday night was F it, Dabinia's down there somewhere, get her the ball. And it didn't work.
See, I don't know if it's the game plan as much as that's the players end up thinking that. Like, get the ball to Dabinia. And
well, to be fair, I have a lot of questions about the Current's tactics as a whole and what exactly they are trying to do out on the field some of the time anyway.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I think we could have a nice long conversation on that too. But they've pretty much lost their chance. The bright spots where they got Claire Lavage back after 320 days of injury. I think some fans were hoping that she'd come in and just be amazing, but she hasn't played for almost a year. She wasn't scoring that many goals when she was healthy last year, so I didn't think she was going to make that big of a difference.
And she still almost put the team on her back on Friday night.
Yeah.
Lavage, you really nailed that name, Thad. Do you want to? You really rolled through that one, Mike. Do you want to give a shot at the name of the coach of the KC Current?
I'll take a pass. I'll take a pass on saying her name. I think she can be a good coach, but I think she's out of her depth. And this team, with the talent that's on it, the Current should be so much better than they are. And this has become basically a wasted season with some very talented players with how they've played.
But one of their big problems is like the talented players have been injured most of the season. They got Vanessa DiBernardo in, they got Morgan Gautreau. I'm not sure if I'm saying that one right, but they were supposed to like dominate the midfield, and when they finally both got in, they were playing better and doing that, and then they both go out with concussions. So they've played like less than a third of the year, or maybe. You had Hannah Gloss, outside back, internationally one of the best right backs in the world, hasn't played a game yet. You just got Lavage back. You just got the new center back Stina Balasager Pedersen in to play, and she just played in the half. You don't have the Brazilian center back have a minute yet, Lauren. They've just had so many injuries. They've signed players. They have Desiree Scott still on the roster that they signed for this year, was potentially going to go to the World Cup, hasn't even entered full training yet. So they have so many players that they have on the roster that haven't contributed at all, or barely, or just for a few games.
So not much left to play for the Current, but
except for the Challenge Cup.
They got the Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
In NWSL regular season is what I meant. You guys didn't let me finish. It's actually what I was going to say. You didn't let me finish.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Cody. Would you please finish?
Well, I finished it already. Thank you for that, though. The media game was a success. Thad, no injuries. You made it out alive. We didn't win. We ended up in a draw with a late goal. From
very
Team
disappointed
Heartland.
in y'all.
Yeah, I missed my moment, didn't I? I had a moment and I didn't take it.
You took it and you just shanked it wide. It's not like you passed the ball off to Shallowy or something. You just shot like. How far off were you, Cody? I was like way away, and I don't have glasses on and all that stuff. But I saw a ball go to Redhead, and I'm like, oh, man, here's his moment of glory. I'm going to get to listen to this for the next year. No, you get to listen to the other side of it for the next year. Open goal, too, wasn't it? I mean, it was like wide open. It was more wide open than Pulido had. It was like a tap-in.
No, that part is not true. There were bodies in my way, and it didn't fall to me, Thad. I took it. I stole it, beat a man, and then just I saw my moment. I heard all the podcast content ready to go, and then I hit it just slightly wide left. It didn't quite go in.
To the left of the post? Was that
no way?
Right? Mike,
no
is that
way.
what you saw?
It was a good. I was literally right behind you, and you were a good multiple yards off the goal.
Yeah. Yes.
Your shot went multiple yards wide of the target.
Yes,
Two
2
photographers
yards.
had to duck when you shot that.
1.5 yards wide is what I'll give you. I was outside of the box. It would have been a stunner if I did it. Like, at least give me that. I should have scored for sure. I put my head in my hands. I am ashamed. First thing I thought of
against a media goalie. That would not have been anything amazing.
It was the first thing I thought of the next morning. But no, it would have been
Cody,
a great goal.
I turned to Thad after you missed it, and I said we would have never heard the end of that if he'd made that.
No,
never would have heard the end of it.
You wouldn't, and you're never gonna hear the end of this either. And this is from last year. I don't even care. We're 1 year old. Here it is.
That needs to be retired now after that game, man.
Our team name isn't even the Blue Testament anymore, but I'm keeping that one. You are gonna hear it forever.
Hey, I got a shout out on the in-stadium announcer, Allie Trost. So
yes, Allie did well there. She got very bored of the action there towards the end and was like, "All right, somebody needs to score here. I can score. I'm gonna score for both teams." And then she started to play, so that was cool. It was a good game. Part. We had fun. No injuries. Yeah, it was that was a good stuff. Tech 9 running around out there. That was a good addition to it. Well done by Grace, old friend Grace. Yeah, good stuff from the night. Right, Thad?
Yep. Yeah, thanks to Grace Rogers for organizing it and getting it all done. And
another media game in the books.
Friend of the pod, Kevin Lopez, for drafting almost the entire Kansas City Soccer Journal.
Yes, shout out to Kevincho for that. The team looked good. We definitely should have won. He picked the better team, and it was a disappointment that we didn't win.
That's why I'm very disappointed in y'all.
You were a rock at the back. You didn't move a lot like a rock, but you were a rock at the back for us. Solid.
I knocked the ball out of bounds off of a player and got the throw in. I did at least a minimal amount of defense. I did better on defense than you did at scoring.
Wow.
Would you agree, Mike?
After I shot it, and because there were other people open on that play, I felt after that as though I really needed to pass the ball, and that I shouldn't act like a ball hog because I was accusing Sperry of that in recent games. So I was passing the ball a lot, but I really should have just done what our secret college player that we have on our team, our member of KC Soccer Journal, she just took the ball right into the box, just kept it, and was calm, cool, and collected. That was beautiful. Set up our goal for us. Got the hockey assist.
She's good. Jess Baker.
Very
good player. She played the next day her college game, so got a goal and assist.
Yeah. We didn't really tell anyone about that. I don't know if she was supposed to do it from her college team or not, but
she got cleared. She got clearance.
Okay, good.
She was talking to Thad and I about that. She's like, "Yeah, I had to go to my coach and make sure it was cool, sure it was kosher."
I was actually surprised she put in for it originally, just because I was like, you're playing college season right now, and she did. And then like day before the game, she realized that she should probably double check with her coach first. So
no, but see that you got to understand a peak physical athlete such as myself needs the best equipment, and the cotton jerseys that we had were just not quite doing it for me. I need the best equipment.
Not getting you as aerodynamic as you could get, Cody.
You didn't have time to work up a moisture to wick.
Cody,
oh my God.
It might have, is it hyperhidrosis? Is that when you're extra sweaty? You don't know.
Yeah.
What is he, a St. Louis fan?
Said.
No, you can be sweaty and not smell like Provel. They're different things.
You can be sweaty and smell.
How bad do you think that Amtrak must have smelled on the way back home? There's not enough like Febreze and like deep cleaning. Like you're gonna have to put like a metric ton of baking soda in that thing to like cleanse it of the St. Louis stench.
David, I think we have. Did I get word that we have another sponsor?
We do. Okay, so this one, I have a story. So it was a big week. I got to meet Kyler Murray via the internet. But okay, so I was wandering through a Walmart, and that's uncommon for me. I don't go to Walmart very often, but I was wandering through a Walmart. And I saw this older gentleman with a great mustache. And I said, "Hi, sir. Like, I just want to compliment you on how nice your mustache is. And he goes, oh, thanks. My name's Stan. And I was like, oh, Stan, you seem like an interesting fella. What are your thoughts on the world? And he was like, well, I have some thoughts about something.
What are your thoughts on the world? Is the last question I'm asking someone in Walmart. Never am I asking a person in Walmart that question.
You might want to ask that in a bar, though.
And so Stan and I got to chatting. And then it turns out that he has some deep ties to St. Louis. And I ended up convincing him to put in an ad read. And so I just like to point out that I have more than footed my efforts in keeping this podcast up and running for the year.
Well, thank
but
you
I have a final pod read. And I have to apologize to our listeners. We don't want to inundate you with ads, but the bills got to get paid somehow. So
yes, and thank you to the mustachioed Stan from Walmart for this one. Go for it, David.
This podcast is brought to you by Stan Kroenke and the Los Angeles Rams. It's a new NFL season in the City of Angels, and we're thrilled to be playing in a real city with normal fans instead of that plague-infested hellscape that is St. Louis. Join us as we bring professional football to a group of people who deserve it.
Well, we made a lot of money on this pod today, just reeling it in now. So thank you. Good work for that, David. Any final words? You're still feeling good today? Rivalry week is over. We're on the uptrend here for the last 7 games. How are you feeling about this, buddy?
Oh, man, I like winning. And I think I might just go out and celebrate with some Emo's Pizza.
Yeah.
Was that another Jewish word?
No, that's just me. Yeah. Dad, I'm not here for that Michigas.
Sport egg.
Has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood.